send me your email, and I'll put together a proposal so we can quickly decide whether we have something worthwhile to talk about, so we don't waste each other's times. How's that? Okay?
Well, you keep talking about wasting each other's time. I'm looking for a 20-year lease here.
Hello?
Jeff, Danny.
Yes, hello, Dan. Hello, can you hear me?
Every word.
Okay, great. Okay, the name of your company is what again?
My name's Danny D'Angelo. We spoke back in February, and my partner, this is where it might get confusing. My partner's name is also Danny. He also goes by Danny. So
Right, okay.
I have
Yes.
I have a ranch in Arizona, so my cell phone number is out of Arizona, but we are local. He called you last week and you had a discussion about $1 a square foot in the space. So asking what company, well, I've got 36 laundromats in the tri-state area. So if I take over this particular location, if we sign a long-term lease and it makes sense for us, we'll spend the money on equipment and we'll open another LLC. What I mean is there's no Walmart and laundromats. It doesn't really work that way. So I want to answer your question in total, but you know, the name, I'm Danny, my partner's Danny. We should probably call it Double D Laundries, but we don't. I sent you an email back in February too, but we are the same entity. That's what I want to make you understand.
Okay, all right.
You had a conversation with me in February. Then Danny called you, I don't know, last week, and you said, go speak to Anthony, your current operator. So I just want to make you understand, we are the same entity. There's not blood in the water. You know, everybody's not excited about taking over this space other than us, is my assumption.
You asked me whether I have other people interested. Yes, I do.
Okay. So our
And I have other
intention,
people for other purpose, and for other purposes as well.
of course.
You know.
And
Yeah.
look, I could pretend to be your advocate here, but in every negotiation, you've got to look out for yourself. Laundromats can't pay commensurate rent typically, and that's the big difference. If you want to vanilla this space and blow out all the equipment and get rid of the infrastructure, then stick a Dwayne Reed in there. It's a little small. Or a bodega, that's entirely up to you. But if you move forward with a laundromat operator, there's a little bit less headache for you because the infrastructure is there, the gas, water, electric. And that's what we've always been after, Jeff, that build out cost. And I think we've established, we have no intention of purchasing the business. That's an easy matter. I can buy laundries all day, but we bide our time. We reach out to landlords. We do this. I mean, it's been 7 months, but if we sign this lease, we're going to start swinging hammers and get new equipment in. But the rate of rent,
Okay,
that's, entirely up to you. I don't want to make any assumptions, but I assume
let's not waste anyone's time. You're talking about $1 a square foot. This is 2,540 square feet. You're talking about rent of $2,540 a month.
Well, I can't do anything about your triple nets. I don't know where that is, and we need to start at approximately that. Yes.
You're talking about net and then plus the taxes and common maintenance, or no?
Right. Of course.
Okay, so I have to figure that out for you.
While you're doing that, I'll say this. The difference with a laundromat, Jeff, I don't assume that you've ever looked into trying to operate one of these places. To do it properly, we have massive debt service on the equipment, and we don't hope to pay that off in a couple of years and sail into the sunset, meaning when that equipment has the end of fiscal life, we're going to do that again. So we're looking for long term here. We'll do 20 years. We'll do a 10 and 2 5s. The debt service on the equipment is different from just about any other business. And your current operator is not paying that and still can't pay the rent because he never retooled it. No sour grapes.
Yeah, well, he's paying the rent, but
it's a big butt.
What? Everyone I know has a big butt.
Okay, the gross rent to you would be about $6,000 a month with your share of with gross rent. Okay, how much does it cost you to set up this business? I think you said $250,000. Is that what you said last time?
Oh, no, more than that, certainly. We spend about $150 a square foot, so close to $500,000. And the thing is, I don't want to build a laundromat from scratch because then I've got to go to environmental impact fees. I've got to pay for all the infrastructure, and that infrastructure is already here. So it's a big break for me, but the equipment still costs what it costs. They still try to rob me. I'm going to bring every distributor in. You're going to have a very, very different look here, Jeff. I don't know what you want to do with this space. If you want to sell it, you can sell it with a month-to-month tenant or sell it with a beautiful laundromat in place. Or like you said, blow the place out, end up with more inventory. That's entirely up to you. But we need to start at $1 a square foot with common bumps so that we can make a few dollars here. I don't want to end up in your current tenant situation, ever. Nobody does, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to come to you hat in hand in 6 months or 6 years and say, gee, man, we miscalculated. We need a reduction here. Now, whatever the deal is, profit on top of paying you. I'm not buying buildings right now, but first right of refusal, we'll ask for that as well.
Yeah, well, I can't give you that. I've owned this property for 60 years in my family, so we won't be doing that. So just so you know,
If you decide to sell it, why would that be a bad thing?
No, because that makes anybody who negotiates with me run away. They don't want to bother spending their time negotiating when someone has a first right of refusal. That spins someone else's wheels. That's why. And nobody wants to spin their wheels just so you can come in and they do all the work and then you come in and take it over.
I understand that. However, having the bird in the hand, I mean, you could make it a 30-day right of first refusal. It's up to you. But
okay.
I tend not to slam the door in people's face when we're in the middle of a talk. So you can do $1.
Okay. Why don't you do this now? I'll give you my email. Send me your email, and I'll put together a proposal so we can quickly decide whether we have something worthwhile to talk about, so we don't waste each other's times. How's that? Okay.
Well, you keep talking about wasting each other's time. I'm looking for a 20-year lease here.
That's okay. I can do that
And I'll send you a letter of intent. I know what I need, Jeff. I really do. And before you send me a proposal, I need to know if there's rent abatement here. I need to know if you're doing any TI or not. I don't know where you're at here. We've been talking for 7 months, sir.
Oh, yes. I think you did. So
I sent you an email. I know I did. I sent you an email with before and after photos of my locations, what we do and how we do it. So, I'm looking for a feather in the cap here. No. Feathers blow away. I'm looking for a jewel in the crown. So we intend to become a very different tenant for you. And you've been really good at getting back to us of late. Understand that Danny and I are the same entity. I'll send you another email. If you want a letter of intent, the first thing we need to do is, you keep talking about wasting time. What type of abatement can I look for on a 15-year or even a 20-year lease?
What would you like, first of all? If you give me a reasonable amount, and I'll try to do it. What reasonable amount would you like?
On 20 years. You understand, when I order this equipment, I won't get it for a year. You probably do.
That's a long time, isn't it?
It is. It's horrible. I don't know if you've bought a refrigerator or a stove or even a microwave lately. You go into Home Depot and you buy it, and then they say, good, you can have it in January. Congratulations. Because parts come from China.
But if you're in the business, I would hope if you're really in the business, you have a warehouse already, don't you?
I have a warehouse full of brand new equipment? Oh, God, no, sir. No. Yeah. I'm going to reach out, and that's a great question. I'm going to reach, once I have a lease in hand, I'm going to go to Hips, Speed Queen, ADC, Dexter, all of the distributors. Unfortunately, I have to deal with that necessary evil. And then they're going to give me a price, and I'm going to tell them to sharpen their pencils. And when I get the proper pricing for the equipment, then they'll let me know when it can come in. And that's a great question. It doesn't sit in a warehouse. It's the same with, again, you and I deal with Lowe's or Home Depot, and you go buy a washer. They're not sitting in the back the way they used to be because of the supply chain issues, because of all the slow boats from China, etc. So it's very real here. No distributor in a laundromat warehouse exists where this stuff just sits on the shelves. It's ordered, it's built, and it's shipped. But that's a good question. And how could you possibly know that?
Yeah, I'm not in that business. Okay. All right, just send me your email one more time real quickly in case I can't find it. And but you're asking for a year abatement. That's an awful long time, isn't it? That doesn't sound like worthwhile to me.
Well, I don't know where we end up here. And that depends. If you have, I'm a very frank person. If you have money that you want to throw at this, I'm not crawling into your pocket, Jeff, but if you want to throw money at this and help us with renovations, then that's obviously different. But I'm not looking for you to build a laundromat. It's already there. If you're spending money,
Sure.
obviously you're responsible for the roof. We have to look at the air conditioning here. We can be ambiguous with our letter of intent, but it's going to not, it's not one-sided. It's really a symbiosis. You know, people say win-win. Well, when we hang up the phone, it's all, I won this and he won that. No. 20-year commitment to this with laundromats are great businesses, or this place goes away and my other stores profit from it. I don't want to see this place go away. Can't speak to what you can do, but I can tell you that if you have other operators that want to put a bodega here, et cetera, we want to do a laundry.
Sure. Okay, very good. All right, let me put something together for you and you'll see if it makes sense for you. Okay, terrific. All right, hopefully we'll speak again.
Come on, Simone, let's talk about your big butt.
A landlord gets all his tenants to pay for all of his taxes and insurance and common area maintenance. Well, it's not that great when they're empty. You know, when COVID hits and they have one tenant out of 6 in the space, they pay. So it's feast or famine. Anyway, what I was really more interested in is the psychology of the call. What I was really more interested in is, we talked to this guy 7 months ago and he slammed the door in her face. This guy is a real pain in the neck. You could tell. He doesn't want to waste anyone's time. We've been on the phone for 10 minutes, dude. Listen, the way he changed from the way he spoke in February is massive. I say this all the time. This is a marathon. But here's the point. This guy has shown his cards. He wants a new tenant here. And the more I blather on about ifs and whats and who's and buts and equipment and all this stuff, and I become that expert in his mind, the better it is. Because when he says, oh, well, I don't know. Listen, when I said 12 months, he didn't say no or slam the phone down. I'm playing the man, not the cards. I'm going to say, look, you know, we can talk in another 12 months. You've already let 7 months go by. If you would have signed a lease with us then, he's ready. He's ready right now. And that whole I'm fielding calls from other people. No, 10 minutes ago, he thought he was fielding calls from a bunch of people. That's us. Dude, deal with my partner, also Danny. And that's part of the confusion, perhaps.
We're at like a year and 2 or 3 months now, and I am starting to see where we're getting. There's 3 or 4 that we're really starting to work on, and we're going to get something. It's just a matter of time.
I want to say that what we need to take away from this is one thing. When you stick to this and you make good connections and you follow up and follow through, all of these stores will eventually fall. The Romans could have rebuilt, right? And they'd still be there. The empire would exist, but they didn't. They let everything crumble. The empire went away. I'm not trying to get too philosophical here. Most tenants, whether it's an empanada shop or a barbecue house or a beer salon or a laundromat, most tenants are scared to death of the landlord. And the landlords get to like that. They enjoy that sense of empowerment where they can run roughshod over them and tell them what's going to happen. Well, let me send you a proposal. What? I'm not sorry. When someone says, I'm going to do this and this and this, but the funny thing is, I say, you get a lump in your throat, right? I need a year of free rent. He didn't say no. Whose hand is on top? Who's got the pinky ring? It's the same everywhere. God bless him. He's figured out how to own property and land, and he's trying to figure out right now, do I really want a laundromat? But the purpose of that 10-minute call is to come through as the expert in laundromats. People say, well, what about the triple nets? Well, we don't mention triple net. We say we need this base rent. We don't mention triple nets because we don't know what it is. I'm willing to go to $6 a square foot in triple nets. No. And that's also part of this, part of the psychology of all this. I got the psychology of you, him, his mother, and we're not going to, as soon as you get your lease, the first day you're going to sign your lease and you're going to call me and say, well, how do I get my contract attendance? We're not there yet. Video speaks for itself. The attitude of the landlord is huge. The fear that you may have in opening whatever business, fear is real. I field these emails all day, every day from folks. And I can smell the fear that comes through. They don't just say, hey, Danny, I'm scared to death to do this. They will write something along the lines of, what if? What about my credit? What about my job? Can I do this with a full-time job? Can I do this with a 620 Isaac score? It's all fear. That's what keeps people going to work every day. The fear. When you stand on the precipice of this potential massive change in your life, you must jump. I've been investing for 30 years, and I invest in crazy stuff. My wife is a former licensed stockbroker, real estate agent, and commercial insurance agent. She holds all those licenses to this day. She works for the family. She doesn't have a job, but those licenses are important. And she's the one who handles the S&P 500 and the easy stuff, while I'm out buying Rolex watches and airplanes. Luck has nothing to do with this. Put the fear behind you. How do you start on it? Oh, New York is a hard market. You're seeing what happens. Does 7 months scare you? Go do something else. There is no get rich quick. None of my videos are clickbait. I exist here not as a YouTuber, but as a lease negotiator and kind of a guy that knows a little something about laundries. If you haven't done it yet, click the thing and the stuff. Like, thumbs up, subscribe. It helps the channel, whatever that means. And get the course. Be selfish. Do that for you. Whether or not you want to involve yourself directly with me and move forward with me, that's fine. That happens later. Start with the silly course. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. You know what? The course is the same price when it was a DVD in 2006. Gee, Danny, you don't charge enough for what you do.
I'm pretty sure this hot water heater's got a few more good years left in it.